Council, tonight is Monday, June 1st, 2015. This is a regular session of council. I am the acting president pro tem because Chris Knisely is not here this evening. She and Councilmember Steve Patterson are at the International Town Gown Conference. So we will begin with, we have a nice crowd, by the way, everyone, out there in TV land, and hopefully you'll get to see some of these folks during the course of the evening here on TV. We begin with establishing a quorum, so we do have enough council members present, and we are absent one. We will follow that with a disposition of the minutes. We have a regular session held May 4th, a special session held May 11th, and a regular session held May 18th, all in 2015. Is there a motion and a second to accept these minutes?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second to accept the minutes. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. The minutes have been accepted. Okay, we're going to move on to a special part of our meeting this evening under communications. Barb Kostorich is here this evening to present and discuss the Live Healthy Appalachia and Love Athens project. Mike Canterbury is going to formally introduce her this evening.
Thank you, Council President Kent Butler. Barb, if you'd like to come up to the podium. I had met with Barb during the NUBA meeting back several months ago, and she was giving a presentation then, and then we went to an AMAX meeting, and she gave another presentation, and it was really exciting to listen to, and she wanted to create this project, so I invited her to council. And so we went from there and to where we are today. And Barb, if you'd like to tell a little bit about it, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you. The Uptown Flag Project was an idea that came about from, we used to do billboards for Live Healthy Appalachia, and we'd get all this great artwork, but we could only pick 2 or 3 boards. So I kept thinking, what can we do with this artwork? So I was in Manitou Springs, and I went up, got out of my car, and I looked up, and there was children's artwork all over town. And I said, that's what we need to do. So we were able to get it done, thanks to a lot of people, Mike being one. He really helped me. AMAC helped. Uptown Businesses helped. Athens City Council, I want to thank you, too. And I think this really goes along with the essence of Athens, what we all love about Athens. And the artwork was fabulous. It was very hard to judge. I want to thank all my judges. We had quite a few. And now I'd like to bring the children up, because the students, because they're the center stage today. So if you guys want to just file over here, you can stand in front, hold up your artwork, and give us your name. You want to start with Chloe? All right, come on up. You can all start walking up this way. Yeah. Stand right here, right in front of me, and say your name loud.
Chloe Leonard.
All right, you want to stand over there, and then everybody can see it. Stand up front, honey, and then everybody can see it. Go ahead.
Yeah,
make sure your artwork's the right way.
That's great. Thanks.
A little louder.
Abby Ball and Irvin. Kennedy Clemens. Madeline James. Olivia Kaiser. Maya Martin. Victoria Beach Brazy. Jean Kim. Kennedy Cantrell. Eddie Olin. Oliver Pyle. William Roscoe. Lydia Cass. Lakin Bowser. Alexander Jordan.
All right, can we give them all a big round of applause? We also have a few winners that are already out of town, so I'd like to say Chelsea Walls, Elena Wolf-Poling, Kylie Tinkham, Sadie Coriel, Mackenzie Hedges, Emmy Olin. So they also were winners. And half the flags are up. The other half will be up probably tomorrow. So congratulations. I'm thrilled. You did a wonderful job. All right. They are on the main court street and on the side. So they're all up in the, there's 32 flags. So they're up in the main section of town.
And they'll be up for a while.
right?
Yes, they're going to be up for a while. And I want to say this now, too. We're hoping to make cars that'll be for sale uptown. So we need the artwork back so we can scan them. All right? Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Oh, I guess you could leave now.
And prior to the artists leaving, we'll just offer a few minutes here for comments from council and the mayor regarding this. So I first of all want to acknowledge again, Barb, thank you for your hard work. Thank you, the Municipal Arts Commission as well too, for supporting and sending the thumbs up to have us look at this. And again, thanks to the mayor's office for making it happen and officially getting the flags up there into the city. So. Again, I think it's really exciting. Thank you, artists, for your work and your time and attention to detail. So it's really exciting to see your work. Any other council members want to comment briefly?
I'll make a comment. I just really think when you drive into a town or you're visiting a town and you see local artwork and especially kids' art, it just feels like home. And I think that'll be a special, every one of you should feel special because as people travel through Athens this summer, they're going to see your art. And that's a special feeling.
Thank you, Councilmember. Any other comments?
I'd just like to add that it's wonderful to see everyone's perspectives on what makes Athens a healthy and happy place to live, whether it's dancing or the library or bikes, trees, and all the different aspects that you've incorporated into your artwork. And so it'll be especially exciting to see that up around town and be able to celebrate that with our residents as well as visitors who are coming into town from other places.
Thank you.
And again, I echo both Councilperson Pappy and Councilwoman Cochran's comments. And thank you, Barb. I think it was a very well put together program. Thank you, kids, for the job that you did and showed what Athens means to you. It was a really exciting project. And thank you.
Mayor Weil, anything?
A great job. It's good. I'm very impressed with all the artwork. And again, it's mostly your work, and it's what makes Athens Athens. You guys, everybody here. Thank you.
Thank you. So again, and congratulations, everyone. Thank you, parents, family, loved ones, for being there and being part of this. We will formally go off the air for a few minutes to allow people to escape the rest of council if that's their desire. And having said so, thank you again.
So don't forget to return the art to Barb.
Yeah.
And you can always watch the rest of council if you choose.
And everybody leaves. I tried to get my kids to come, and they're all just
Hello and good evening. Welcome back to the regular session of Athens City Council. We had a brief respite there while we allowed a few people to depart. We had a wonderful presentation about the Live Healthy Appalachia, Love Athens. So again, those of you in TV land, welcome back. Thank you for being patient with us. So moving along, we're still on communications. Are there communications from council members? Okay, if not, we will move on to reports and communications from other elected officials. We'll begin with Mayor Weil.
Let's see, just a couple things. They'll continue doing night work on Richland Avenue, trying to stay ahead of the schedule if possible, or at least on time. So just be aware of that. That I think is going to occur for the week. Let's see. Another one, of course, is that the Ohio River Medical Mission, I think we brought this up before, the no-cost mission medical services down in Meigs County is starting up June 2nd to 11th. Essentially, it's come one, come all, no call-ins, free medical exams, et cetera, et cetera. Talking about everything from dental screening to vision screening and other referrals, as well as some veterinarian services too. One will be at the Meigs High School, the other one will be at the Meigs Fairgrounds. It's the 72nd 41st Medical Support Unit of the Army Medical Reserve Command out of Lexington, and they set up a medical camp and run it like, but they need patients to practice. So it's a chance for you to get some free medical referrals at least. And again, it's between 8 to 5, and it's at the Meigs High School, and I think the veterinarian ones are at the Meigs Fairground. It'll go to the 2nd to the 11th. And that's really all I have.
Why are those light green?
Thank you, Mayor Wow.
Be partners.
Law Director Lisa Eliason.
Nothing, thank you.
Thank you. I will acknowledge briefly that this is unfortunately our last episode, last council meeting with Matt Lunn, who is our technician and senior producer. So Matt is in the back room there. Thank you, Matt, for your hard work, and we appreciate everything you've done with us, and we will miss you. So good luck with your next endeavor. We're now moving on to ordinances for third reading. Ordinance 50-15, an ordinance authorizing 2015 street pavings and repairs, project number 293, and this is introduced by Councilmember Michelle Pappy. Thank you.
Thank you. I move to adopt 5015. Second. This is our annual street paving and repairs project where we appropriate $350,000 this year to begin. Some of it's already begun, as many may have noticed. So we are moving, and it's the appropriation ordinance. So we are moving $175,000 to Street Fund 220 TC 500 and $175,000 to Street Rehab Fund for that total of $350,000.
Thank you, Councilmember Pappy. We have a motion and a second. Prior to voting, are there any comments regarding this ordinance from council or the mayor or the public? Again, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor of adopting the ordinance, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The ordinance has been adopted. Moving on to ordinance 51-15, an ordinance authorizing sidewalk improvements, and this is project number 294, again introduced by Councilmember Pappy.
Thank you. I move to adopt 5115. Second. This is the ordinance that is authorizing to advertise and accept bids for three sidewalk repairs. What's a little bit different about this ordinance this year is we're focusing on 3 streets that have what we call tree lawns. So these are streets where we're not necessarily doing a street rehab on top of the sidewalk rehab. And there are 3 streets involved in this. Help me, Mayor.
Oh, Central, North Congress, and South May.
Thank you. For a total of $150,000.
And you'll have a resolution tonight of necessity to start the assessment process.
Right. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Pappy. We have a motion and a second. Are there any comments prior to voting? All those in favor of adopting the ordinance, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. The ordinance has been adopted. Moving on to ordinance 52-15, an ordinance authorizing 2015 rapid water line replacement. And again, this is project number 295, introduced by Councilmember Patterson, who is not present this evening. Who would like to speak on his behalf?
I'll speak to that one.
Thank you.
This ordinance allows the Service Safety Director to advertise and accept bids and enter into contract for the 2015 Rapid Waterline Replacement Project. And we will be appropriating from the unappropriated balance the sum of $120,000 to the Water Fund, which is TC 500s, and increasing the total appropriations by said amount to do some much-needed repairs on the rapid water line at the Athens Mall, and what is the other location?
Elizabeth, I believe.
Elizabeth Street on the west side of Athens. So it's a necessary step for us to take.
And I'm going to ask for a motion.
I move to adopt ordinance 5215.
Second.
Thank you, Councilmember Cochran. Any comments prior to voting? Mayor Weil.
This is one of the cases where we have multiple breaks on some of these roads, and the idea is to jump in and fix some of them. We had a similar one over, I think, at the on the south side last year, where we had to do, I forget the name of the road actually, is off of, where the Budget Hotel is over there, near Andover. So it's one of those cases where it starts to build up and we start seeing more damage, so the idea is to get a jump on it.
Thank you, Mayor. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor of adopting ordinance 5215, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. The ordinance has been adopted. Ordinance 53-15, an ordinance amending Athens City Code Title 9, General Regulations, Chapter 9.13, Clean Indoor Air. And this is introduced by Councilmember Cochran.
Thank you, President Pro Tem Butler. This, rather than adding to the code, is essentially taking away from the city code and conducting some basic housekeeping and editing, because we discovered in looking over some of the code when we were discussing smoke-free parks that we had some code on the books that was unnecessary because of the Ohio Revised Code passing clean indoor air quality laws. So essentially, we're taking out some large chunks of code pertaining to smoking in restaurants and bars and other such establishments that are no longer necessary, and this will bring us in line to what Ohio Revised Code has on the books. So I move to adopt, what's the ordinance?
Ordinance
5315.
Second.
Thank you. Any comments prior to voting? Mayor Weil.
Don't you miss the good old days where you had smoking and non-smoking sections in a restaurant, where you
No.
knew the smoke didn't go over to the non-smoking side?
I don't miss that.
Experience we've all forgotten by now.
Right. Thank you, Mayor. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor of adopting ordinance 5315, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. The ordinance has been adopted. Moving on to ordinance 5415, an ordinance authorizing payment of the registration fee required by the Ohio Supreme Court on behalf of the Office of the Law Director. This is introduced by Councilmember Reisner.
Thank you, Mr. President Pro Tem. I move to adopt 5415.
Second.
We've talked about this. This is our third time, not including committees, but I think the law director may want to say anything.
Was past practice for the last 8 years, so this is really kind of a housekeeping matter to put it in writing.
Okay.
Verify it.
Could the mayor remind me how much this is?
About 600, is it, dollars?
I think it's a little bit more than that.
Less?
More than that.
Less?
Okay.
Right. Pardon me?
The clerk is suggesting less than that, is that?
Well, no, it's
No, it's-
about, it's 300 per person.
Okay.
So it's 1,500.
1,500,
Approximately.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, Law Director Eliason, as well. Any other questions or comments?
Nothing more to add.
Okay. We do have a motion and a second. All those in favor of adopting ordinance 5415, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. The ordinance has been adopted. Moving on to ordinance 5615, an ordinance amending ordinance 121-14, authorizing staffing levels. And this is introduced by the Finance and Personnel Committee. Who would like to speak on that behalf?
I'll speak.
Thank you.
I move to adopt 5615.
Second.
This ordinance, as it states there, is amending staffing levels. I think the mayor could speak better to it. It has to do with our water treatment plant, personnel, one leaving, a new person coming in.
Well, we've got a couple things here going on. One is to increase the amount of council aides as needed, I believe. Is that it? Rather than just set at 2. Most of this would be determined by how much is in your TC 100s. Another one would be actually recreation seasonal workers, the same thing there. An intern for internal services, and reslotting the DARE officer as auxiliary DARE officer, since we're expecting a retirement of Officer Rick. So we're trying to put that position into like a second-tier system there. I think that covers most of it right there. The interim one, I think, was last time. I'm not sure about that. I'd have to check.
They're all the same.
Okay. And you'll probably be revisiting this at another staffing change for the next committee. So just let you know for finance personnel.
Thank you, Mayor.
Nothing more to add on that.
Thank you. No more comments or questions? Any from the audience? We have a motion and a second to adopt Ordinance 5615. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. The ordinance has been adopted. We are now moving on to ordinances for second reading. Ordinance 5815, an ordinance authorizing the purchase of road salt for the Engineering and Public Works Department, and this was introduced by Councilmember Patterson. Not necessarily needing any comments or any voting or...
Salt is good.
Ordinance 5915, an ordinance establishing a fiscal policy for overpayments to employees, and this was introduced by Councilmember Reisner. Any questions or comments on this evening?
No.
Okay, moving on to a resolution for first reading. We have Resolution 7-15, a resolution declaring it necessary to replace existing curb and sidewalks deemed in poor condition on Central Avenue, North Congress Street, and South May Avenue, project number 294, and declaring an emergency, introduced by Councilmember Pappy.
Thank you. This resolution has to do with the necessary need to pass the resolution so that we can begin part of the assessment of the property owners regarding the sidewalk. As we know in Athens, if you live in the city, you are responsible for your sidewalk. The city is responsible for the curb. So that's part of the beginning processes of that assessment.
Okay.
Thank you, Councilmember. Any other questions or comments from Council, the Mayor, or the public? Mayor?
Again, as you mentioned, these sidewalks are not right at the street, so the curbs probably are not part of the construction or as the street construction. Many times we're doing both at the same time. Again, it sounds like from your infrastructure tour in April, the desire was to improve the sidewalks and get a jump on it. So this is part of the process in response to your wishes.
Thank you, Mayor.
And I would just add, so the public understands, there was an assessment of sidewalks several years ago when they were prioritized in terms of needs and safety. And these three streets are, again, at the top of the list in terms of needing repair.
Thank you. We do have a motion and a second, correct?
I don't believe that.
We do.
It's a resolution.
Thank
It's
you.
a free reading.
That's all right. I didn't know if it was an emergency, or do we need
No,
to...
suspending. No.
Suspend it or no? Okay, thank you. I appreciate the reminders. Moving on to the next part of our agenda is announcements and other business. I believe we do have a couple of appointments for some commissions this evening. Thank you.
I would like to have a motion to appoint Elaine Getz to the Sustainability Commission. Elaine is an eminently qualified individual for this commission. I think she will be a huge, huge asset to the city. And I really thank her for coming forward. So I motion that we accept her volunteering.
Second.
appointment.
Wonderful. Mayor?
Again, this appointment is actually a council appointment. At the recommendation of Paul Logue, he has a vacancy. If you know Elaine Getz, she's been involved with our wellhead protection projects as well as the floodplain many years ago.
Yeah, thank you.
So she's very involved in the technical side of what's been going on in terms of, environment, so to speak.
And she's currently working for this University Sustainability Office.
Yeah.
She's eminently a huge asset.
Thank you, Councilmember Plum. We do have a motion and a second. Thank you, Mayor. We have a motion and a second to appoint Elaine Getz to the Sustainability Commission. All those in favor of the appointment, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Welcome on board, and thank you for the service work. I believe we also have another appointment for the Disability Commission.
Yes, I'll speak to that one on behalf of the City Service Safety Committee. The mayor would like to appoint Rose Dickus to serve on the Disabilities Commission, and she will be filling the unexpired term of Rebecca Darling. Rose has been attending meetings and, again, is willing and eager to serve, and we appreciate the volunteer service of the citizens who serve on these many boards and commissions and help do the important day-to-day work of making the city a better place to live. So I move to appoint Rose Dickus to the Disabilities Commission.
Second.
Wonderful. Mayor, any comments?
No, Rose is qualified. She's been, as I say, involved, which is very important. I've known her for many years. She's a West Sider, as you probably know.
Yeah.
So I think she has some good, she'll be a good addition to the commission.
Thank you. Thank you, Member Cochran. We do have a motion and a second and to appoint Rose Dickus to the Disability Commission. All those in favor of the appointment, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Welcome on board. Thank you, Rose. We appreciate your work and volunteer efforts. Any other announcements and other business? Committee meetings for next week?
Finance personnel.
Finance and Personnel, thank you.
Planning development.
Planning and Development.
I would guess that service safety needs to be on there.
Wonderful.
Just reminding you also that at 6:30 we're meeting, and I'm going to do a short training on sunshine law.
And that will be down, would that be here or downstairs?
We'll do it up here.
Up here,
That's fine.
okay. Thank you.
And I believe next week is our fair housing presentation as well? Okay.
7 o'clock.
7 o'clock. And I believe we're scheduling the second hearing for the CDBG the following... The 18th, is it? Yeah, 15th, okay. So there's a couple of extra activities on your agenda for the next couple of weeks.
Thank you, Mayor. And thank you, Law Director Lassen, for reminding us. My guess is that that's open to the public?
Absolutely.
The sunshine.
That's right.
Okay.
Beginning at 6:30. Be here or be square, okay. Moving on to the next part of our agenda this evening is an opportunity for citizens to speak on legislative items and city services that were not covered this evening on the agenda. So kindly please sign in up at the podium if you choose to speak. There may not be a sign in there. Use invisible ink. Just kidding. But please do sign in
Do you want me to take a piece
and
of paper?
acknowledge your name and address. And friendly reminder as well, too, if you can limit your comments to give or take 3 minutes. We do have a timer here, and we'll try not to scare anyone. Thank you.
Dennis is here, I think. No.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm Janet Polzer, Winsong Drive. I just have a question. I don't know if I can do that. May I ask a question?
You may ask a question, but we will likely not answer. But
Well, I'm speaking about the Fest unrest, and I'm just interested in a question about city annexation of property. I'm wondering if properties are annexed, let's say there are 2 properties next to the venue property, and all 3 are lumped together to be annexed into the city, I would like to know what burden that places on the people in the township who are then annexed into the city. What kinds of financial burdens? Do they have to get city water? I'm sure they have to pay city taxes, I would guess. And I'm just interested in that answer. Thank you.
you're welcome. We will do our best to answer that with a little bit of homework. Thank you. Other questions or comments from citizens that here this evening?
Actually, it's just a real brief comment.
You
I
are?
often wonder when...
Name and address.
Oh, I'm Alice Ratliff. I'm on 43 First. When do we get to actually talk and interact, or do we ever?
Not here, not this part.
No. So
Committee.
Yeah, no,
Committee meeting.
correct. A committee
so
meeting.
the committee meetings is where we need to go.
Correct, and we can establish, probably fall under either safety, city safety services, or probably my best guess,
Annexation would be planning development, wouldn't it?
or planning, thank you, yeah, or planning and development.
Depends what you're covering.
So I guess we just need to get a list of all the meetings that you guys have, and I
Well,
guess or know when we can and cannot speak.
And speak with the chairperson of those committees and ask to put
Yeah,
together, yeah, to have a committee.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you, Alice. That's a good question. Any other comments from citizens this evening, present? Okay, I am at the point in our meeting too to remind everyone that we will be entering into an executive session specifically and solely to discuss collective bargaining that is on our agenda this evening. We need to make a motion to move into that and to acknowledge who we want present for that this evening.
I move that we move into executive session to discuss collective bargaining.
Second.
And who would you like present?
I would like all council members present here tonight, and the mayor and the law director.
Second.
Wonderful. And if we could individually...
Aye.
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 Okay, wonderful. We will give 10 minutes to everyone, to the press and public to ask questions or comments, and then we will officially enter into that executive session. Thank you, everyone, for your patience and understanding.